Ananda Kodi Vaishnava Ki Randravat Shrimad Ki Hari Bol Dori Sada Samadhi Dori Sada Samadhi Dori Sada Samadhi Jai Shri Guru Prabhupada Ki. See, mercy of devotees is more important than mercy of Krishna. By Krishna's arrangement, the garland breaks, but the devotee is insistent. He makes sure still, no, the mercy will go. It's this verse that Siddhi bhavati vanepi samshayo chuta sevinam. If you serve Achyutam, maybe you will reach perfection, but maybe not. Nih samshayastu tat bhaktas paricharya ratatma. But if you serve devotees, there is no doubt you will have success. That's a beautiful secret that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from Sri Ramanuja Sampradaya. Today we continue Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 15, the descendants of King Priyavrata, and we have two poetry verses, verse texts, because one doesn't have a purport. So most texts here are, in general, are prose, but when there is a prayer or glorification, you see that what comes is poetry. So we have text 9. I'll just chant it. Text 9 and then text 10. Gayam dripaka pratiyadi karma viryo yajvabhimani bahuvid dharma gupta Samagadasri sadasaspati sadam satsevakonyo bhagavat kalamrite. The great King Gaya used to perform all kinds of Vedic rituals. He was highly intelligent and expert in studying all the Vedic literatures. He maintained the religious principles, Dharma Gupta, and possessed all kinds of opulence. Samagatashi. He was a leader among gentlemen, Sadasaspati, and a servant of the devotees, Satsevaka. He was, there's one devotee in Mayapur, the first shop as you enter the compound, first shop on the right in the wall. His name is Satsevaka. That's his shop. And Jayapataka Maharaj told him to serve devotees and give him the name Satsevaka, servant of devotees. So he said it's sometimes, sometimes you go to buy something and then he sort of donates to you half of it or a little bit. Sometimes embarrassing. So he's trying to. Servant of devotees, Satsevaka. He was a totally qualified plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavat Kalam. Kala, portion. Therefore, who could equal him in the performance of gigantic ritualistic ceremonies? And text 10. Yam adhyasinchan parayamudasati satya shishodaksha kanya saridvi yasya pragya prajanam duduhe darasisho nirasisho gunavatsa snuto daham. You must know Satsevaka, right? So here we can word for word. Yam. Abhyashinchan. Based. Paraya. With great. Muda. Satisfaction. Sati. All chaste and devoted to their husbands. Satya. True. Ashisha. Whose blessings. Dakshakanya. The daughters of King Daksha. Saridbihi. With sanctified water. Yasya. Whose. Rajanam. For the citizens. Duduhe. Fulfilled. Dhara. The planet Earth. Ashisha. Of all desires. Nirashisha. Although personally having no desire. Gunavatsa Snuta Udha. Earth becoming like a cow. Whose udders flowed upon seeing. Gaia's qualities in ruling over the citizens. Translation and purport. He's doing Greek proper. All the chaste and honest daughters of Maharaj Daksha, such as Shraddha, Maitri, and Daya. They were not mentioned in the text, so you can see that's Prabhupada's a little added comment here. Shraddha, Maitri, and Daya. What is the meaning of Maitri? Friendship. Daya? Mercy. Yes. Shraddha, you know. Shraddha also means respect, besides faith. Such as Shraddha, Maitri, and Daya, whose blessings were always effective, bathed Maharaj Gaia with sanctified water. We like to get a drop of water from, for example, Daya or Maitri on your head. In fact, this is how you get these nice qualities. They are, all these virtues are wives of Dharma. They are wives of religion, God of religion. So, somebody takes to religion, then they bless the person with such qualities. So, of course, for a devotee, we take to the supreme religion, Bhagavad Dharma, and practicing these, in fact, are the first steps. Do you have some of this? You want some? Thank you. Shraddha, Maitri, and Daya, whose blessings were always effective, bathed Maharaj Gaia with sanctified water. Indeed, they were very satisfied with Maharaj Gaia. The planet Earth, personified, came as a cow, and as though she saw her calf, she delivered milk profusely when she saw all the good qualities of Maharaj Gaia. In other words, Maharaj Gaia was able to derive all benefits from the earth and thus satisfy the desires of his citizens. However, he personally had no desire. The earth over which Maharaj Gaia ruled is compared to a cow. And in fact, what's the Sanskrit for cow? Go. And for earth? Or also go. Yeah. Govinda is one who gives pleasure to cows, to earth, and to the senses. Go. We have in many languages some remnant of this, like Gauleiter. You know, this was a ruler of a land. I mean, they still have this in term, Gauleiter. Gau? Leiter is leader. Cow. The good qualities whereby he maintained and ruled the citizens are compared to the calf. So, what did he rule the citizens with and maintain them? What did he maintain them with? With what? Huh?
Milk necessities.
Let me read again what Prabhupada says. The good qualities whereby he maintained and ruled the citizens are compared to the calf. So, what with?
Good quality.
With
Yes,
milk.
yes, good qualities. Good qualities. And these good qualities are compared to what?
Calf.
A calf. So do you have some calves? Yeah, we need to grow some calves in our character. So, a cow delivers milk in the presence of her calf. Similarly, the cow, or earth, fulfilled the desires of Maharaj Gaya, who was able to utilize all the resources of the earth to benefit his citizens. This was possible because he was bathed in sanctified water by the honest daughters of Daksha. Unless a king or ruler is blessed by authorities, he cannot rule the citizens very satisfactorily. Through the good qualities of the ruler, the citizens become very happy and well qualified. Now read this verse one more time. Very bold. Dayam nripata pradeyadi karma virya jvabhimani bhavi dharma goptam samagata shri sadasaspati satam satseva punyo bhagavad bhavam nrite. The great King Gaya used to perform all kinds of Vedic rituals. He was highly intelligent and expert in studying all the Vedic literatures. He maintained the religious principles and possessed all kinds of opulence. He was a leader among gentlemen and a servant of the devotees. He was a totally qualified plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, who could equal him in the performance of gigantic ritualistic ceremonies? Yam avyasim chinchan karayamudasati satyashisho dakshakanya saridvi yasya prajanam duduhedara shisho nirashisho gunavatsa santoda. All the chaste and honest daughters of Maharaj Daksha, such as Shraddha, Maitri and Daya, whose blessings were always effective, bathed Maharaj Gaya with sanctified water. Indeed, they were very satisfied with Maharaj Gaya. The planet Earth personified came as a cow, and as though she saw her calf, she delivered milk profusely when she saw all the good qualities of Maharaj Gaya. In other words, Maharaj Gaya was able to derive all benefits from the earth and thus satisfy the desires of his citizens. However, he personally had no desire. Yasya prasadagyopi sadhya sarvagyatam prajit sashi chaitanya devane bhagavan samprasidatu. May Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be fully merciful unto me. By His grace, a complete fool can get all knowledge in one moment. And another verse from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shri Chaitanya padam bhoja madhupevyo namo nama katanchit ashrayad yesham shvapidat gandhabhag bhavet. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the devotees of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are like the honeybees, drinking the honey from the lotus of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. Because if if one somehow or other takes shelter of such devotees, then even if one is a dog, one will get a chance to taste flavor of that honey. Usually you don't give honey to dogs, right? But by mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees, everybody can get the taste. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We know from the Gita, Krishna says in Adi Purusha, one who is my devotee is not my devotee. But one who is a devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. Remember this, right? Usually we are told this on day 3 or 2 or 1 of our contact with devotees, right? We need to be devotees of devotees, and that's a very special secret. In fact, in Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that that's how mercy is dispersed. That's how mercy is distributed. So it's not Krishna himself who decides, okay, I'll give him mercy. Sash, I don't know. Let me think. It's not Krishna who makes a decision. It's he's impartial. Of course, he arranges everything according to everybody's qualities and behaviors. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is a devotee, Madhyam Bhakta. So Madhyam Bhakta is supposed to discriminate, to judge, to see who is a devotee, who is a demon, and who is a simply ignorant person. Maybe bewildered by demons, but basically innocent. Just doesn't know better. So Madhyam Bhakta is supposed to determine this, and then he behaves in different ways with these different categories. So demons he simply avoids, and those who are innocent or those who are ignorant, those basically who are fools, he does what to them? Preach. Well, not, yes, that's the activity, but what does he give them?
Prasadam.
You must know the verse. From you must recognize the verse defining Madhyam Bhakta. Madhyam Bhakta. Ishvare tadadhineshu balisheshu vishatsu cha prema maitri kripa upeksha yah karoti sa madhyamaha. So to the Lord, prema, to devotees of the Lord, friendship. To balisheshu, childlike fools, mercy, kripa. And vishatsu, envious, inimical or demoniac personalities, upeksha, means indifference, avoiding, and primarily, very importantly, avoiding in one's mind. But also externally, no need to go and have quarrels with them. So this is the behavior of Madhyam Bhakta. So Madhyam Bhakta therefore gives, he's the one who is distributing mercy. So this is why when Durvasa was running away from Sudarshana Chakra, so he went to everywhere. He went to Brahma and said, "Please protect me." And Brahma said, "No, I'm not independent here. I cannot make this decision." Then he runs to his actually source and deity Lord Shiva. It says, protect me. And Lord Shiva says, no, no, no. I am not independent. I'm not independent here. I cannot decide this myself. Okay, then who remains? Vishnu, yes. And Vishnu Chakravarti says, how does it happen that some people who do not belong in Vaikuntha come to Vaikuntha? He says, just like sometimes forest animals do not belong in a city, but they are brought to the city in a circus or in a zoo for fun, Vaikuntha Vasis. In the same way, sometimes such personalities are allowed to enter Vaikuntha so that everybody can see, hey, did you see that sage coming from there? My God, these people there are far out. He comes to Vishnu and he says, oh, please give me mercy, protect me. And what does Vishnu say? What did Brahma and Shiva say? Why? Yeah, I'm not independent. It's the same thing Vishnu says. He says, oh, sorry, I'm not independent. I cannot decide this on my own. How so? He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who else decides things except him? So he says, well, you want mercy, right? You want mercy. And so that mercy is in the heart, right? Well, so I must tell you that my heart I have given away to my bhaktas. So you've come to the wrong address. It's not where I keep my mercy. Come to me, but that's not where my mercy is kept. My mercy is kept with my devotees. Like sometimes in some families, in many jokes, it's the wife who keeps the purse. Right? Well, of course, it's mostly in families where the husband misuses the money, let's say, and for drink, let's say, and so she keeps the money. Right? So if he wants something, he goes to her. So Vishnu tells Durvasa, well, I don't have mercy with me. My mercy is given to my devotees. So if you want mercy, you must go to my devotees. And in particular, not just any devotees, but in this particular case, there was one devotee because of whom you have created this problem. You could maybe understand who I have in mind. Why are you running from Sudarshan Chakra? And by the way, this was, because Ambarish was so absorbed in bhajan, in devotional service, therefore Lord Vishnu sent Sudarshan Chakra to always protect him, to always see that nothing bad happens to Ambarish or his kingdom. And not only that, he himself usually personally oversees the life of such a dedicated devotee like Ambarish Maharaj. So he says, if you want mercy, you must go to Ambarish. And you remember, yes, that he goes to Ambarish, and Ambarish for 1 year, he hasn't been eating. He hasn't been sleeping either. He was standing and waiting to see what's going to happen. And when the Rasa Muni comes, then and Sudarshan Chakra is behind him, burning and just threatening to destroy him. The Rasa Muni says to Sudarshan Chakra, please, if I have ever performed anything good, any pious act, have done anything good, please take all this punya and give it to this Brahmana. The Brahmana who wanted to kill him. The one who wanted to kill him. So he says, please take my punya and don't kill him. So you can see the nature of Ambarish Maharaj. So then Durvasa Muni actually glorifies. He surrenders to Krishna, he glorifies. In fact, if you read the Parampara, Guru Parampara in Madhva Sampradaya, he is part of it. The Rasa Muni is put there as one of the special, interesting person. So Krishna says that I distribute my mercy through devotees. The same Ramanuja says that if you if you have some difficulty, if you tried everything, if you try to solve it, if you try to find the solution in the Shastra, nothing works, just go to devotees, just sit with devotees, just be with devotees. And it's my experience that sometimes from very unexpected person in devotional, sometimes it can be some young devotee, or sometimes it can be usually devotees you are friendly with. Sometimes you do not even say much to this person, but the person talks to you and then gives you some very, very helpful advice, which practically I have experienced, like saved my life. So devotees, that's why we sing every day, Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Bhaktavrinda means all the followers and all the devotees, Gaur Bhakta, Gauranga. Glorify, serve and follow Gaura Bhaktas and Gaur Bhaktavrinda. And then here, who will have, so we need mercy of devotees, right? Can we all agree with this? That we need mercy of devotees. Is this accepted? Everybody accepts this, right? Okay. Now, the next step. If we need the mercy of devotees, what is it just struck me actually that yesterday a person on Facebook sent me a friend request. I think if I say you cannot find him anyway. It's the person I always give as an example for 20 years. I've been giving him as an example of a person who was given to me as an example by my Bhakta leader, who said, such and such, he is a super powerful preacher, supercharged preacher. He, actually he made many words. He chants 64 rounds every day. He hardly sleeps, maybe 4 hours. He does seva the whole day. But I don't want to be in the same building with him. So this is one of the early things I heard. Oh, how is that? I thought if you chant, everything else is automatic. Especially 64 rounds. Should be automatic, very automatic. 64 rounds, very automatic. 16 automatic, but 64 definitely automatic. Good qualities. So I'm sharing his example since 20 years to scare devotees all around the world. And yesterday he sent me a friend request. He's alive and kicking somewhere, preaching. I see him preaching. Yes. I hope. Well, I'm using him for a good purpose as for service. I don't name the names, point the fingers. So I hope he doesn't take any. I mean, I hope he will never realize that's about him. And I'm sure he's not gonna check out my classes. I'm convinced. Definitely. He even has. Yeah. Anyway, I will not. Yes. So, if we need mercy of devotees, as we agreed, then when do we have a higher chance to get it? If I am angry, if I am quarreling all the time with the devotees, or if I practice these 3 virtues mentioned whose goddesses are mentioned in this verse. So the goddesses here are Daya, mercy, and Maitri, friendship, and Shraddha. And I mentioned that one of the meanings of Shraddha is respect. So if I practice behavior consistent with these virtues, in other words, I try to be respectful, I try to be merciful, I try to be kind. So, is it a higher? Do I have a higher chance of getting mercy? Do I have a higher chance, or will I have a higher, or will I have? Who will have a higher chance of getting mercy? If I am cruel or merciful? If I'm cruel to everybody, or if I'm merciful? Yes. And if I'm friendly or inimical to everybody and fighting with everybody? Who will get? When will I get the mercy sooner? Friendly, isn't it? Yes. So to say the channels are open if we are practicing this. And incidentally, exactly these three qualities are mentioned as the first three Bhagavad Dharmas. So we are the followers of Bhagavad Dharma, and Bhagavad Dharma is listed in the 11th canto, 33 Bhagavad Dharmas. Usually it's in the plural. Bhagavatam Dharman means Bhagavad Dharmas, many. And then there is a list of 33. And number 8 and 9 of these Bhagavad Dharmas is, as expected, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, these practices of bhakti, as we would expect Bhagavad Dharma to be. But number 1 is Daya. Number 2 is Prashraya, which is respect. And number 3 is Maitri, is friendship, being present. So in fact you can see that Narada Muni in the 4th canto says that if you practice these three types of relationships, so we can associate with 3 categories of people. What 3 categories of people we can have relationships with? I will name 1. Yes?
Devotees who are on equal level.
Yes, exactly. So equal, senior or junior. Is there any other quality? Any other category? People will be either senior to us, or better in some ways, or junior to us, or equal to us. Do we have any other option other than these 3? Is it possible to have any other? Do you have any other dimensions? Looks like this exhausts everybody, no? So Narada Muni says that, of course we have enemies included. Okay, so enemies we just avoid. But for these 3, Narada Muni says in the 4th canto, he says, Gunadhikam, somebody who is more qualified, Mudam, he said. See more qualified, take pleasure in it. Be delighted. How do we say? Be delighted. Yes. That's it. The sale. Okay. That's the classic yoga medicine for envy. To see, because when we have envy, when somebody has something nice, so then we just feel joy for them. Oh, so nice, he has it, very good. So this is Mudam Gunadika, Mudam Lipset. Anukrosham Gunadamad. And somebody Gunadhama, some less qualities than we have, then instead of laughing at them and exploiting them and despising them, we do Anukrosha, we practice mercy. And then the third one, Maitrim Samanam Anvichem. He says one should seek Anvichem. So it looks, even in Sanskrit, it sounds like it requires a little more effort. One should seek You should look for it. You should try to find friendship, samadhi, or with the same, meaning equal, with the equals, instead of trying to compete, having rivalry with the equals. And Ardhamuni says, if you just do these three, na tapaya abhibhuyate. Suffering cannot touch you. Or suffering cannot overwhelm you. Srila Prabhupada translates, the threefold suffering of the material world will not touch you. Meaning, not just some suffering, meaning no suffering, because there is only three kinds of suffering in this world. The suffering from the forces of nature, the suffering from inside of our mind and the body. Do you have any suffering from your mind? Everybody? And the suffering from the other living entities in relationships. So that's the classic three main suffering. This is all the suffering broken into these three categories. That's, you can see that's Srila Prabhupada's commentary, that basically it means no suffering touches you. No suffering touches you. Some devotees try to give analysis. They say that when you do not treat well those who are junior, then you will be attacked unexpectedly by tamagun, or by some suffering from inside. Anyway, it's a beautiful topic for extensive mental speculation. Which category prevents which suffering and why? You can build some interesting mental philosophical bridges to explain which category counteracts which suffering. But the point is, Narada says it removes. Same we have in Yoga Sutra. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, who says that these types of behavior, so friendship with the pious, avoidance of sinful, happiness for happy, and compassion to suffering. Same things. It says if you practice these four behaviors, it removes obstacles on your path to samadhi. Do you have any obstacles on the path to samadhi? Do you encounter any difficulty in entering samadhi? So the authority, the expert on samadhi, Patanjali says that's how you can overcome the obstacles. Practice. He also lists 9 or 14 categories of obstacles himself, and he says that these 4 behaviors is a way to overcome all the obstacles. And if you see the 3 kinds of suffering, you can see that this includes relationships with others, it includes the mind, our own body and mind, and it includes even forces of nature. Hare Krishna. With the proper, building proper relationships. Proper relationships means these. Respect, friendship and mercy. Respect, friendship and mercy. Sounds very simple. And those of us who have been practicing some yoga in previous lives, we will be very happy to hear this. But some of us will hate it. And we think, no, it should be automatic. Just give me something simple, like putting on kantimala. Yes? Just kantimala. Or maybe, ring. Ring is very nice. Yes? Just put on what do we have? Respect. Yes, respect. And respect, it means Saturn, and Saturn, blue sapphire. Yes, I need a blue sapphire. Very easy. Please don't everybody get it. I don't need a blue sapphire. Okay? Don't give me blue sapphires, thank you. So we sometimes want to find very simple solutions which do not require our personal sacrifice or action or adjustment in ourselves. But all of these external remedies are meant to help us change ourselves. They are meant to help us to change our consciousness. Consciousness, and ultimately, what does it mean? Consciousness, it may be difficult to change quickly. Like these things like friendship, kindness, and respect, these are states of mind, and the mind may not want to cooperate. However, you can change your values, you can change your motives, you can change your goals. So even if the mind does not cooperate, if you accept this is my value, and this is my practice, so I will act, even if the mind does not cooperate, with my intelligence, and I will use my ego and consciousness to at least consciously select that, hey, I respect, I accept that this person is good, and I'm accepting that I want to be happy in his good qualities. I want to, I don't want to compete, I want to be friendly with those who are more or less equal, or with devotees. And mercy, I will behave practicing mercy, at least giving prasad, at least giving the holy name, at least giving the books, and everything else. Yes. However, or a good word, or a prayer to those who need mercy or help. So then we can have hope to get blessings from all the kind goddesses, servants of Krishna, devotees of Krishna, all devotees, and of all devotees, and then all success is there. All success. What is impossible for somebody who has mercy of devotees? What is impossible? Nothing is impossible. Somebody has mercy. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai, Maharaj Gaya Ki Jai, Hare Bol. Some questions, comments, points? Your namesake, he is Gaya or Uru Gaya? The guy here is Uru, is Gaya.
It's only the similarity is only accidental.
What's the synonym for namesake?
Isto menjak.
Soimenjak.
I have problems with all the qualities you've mentioned today. I mean, I don't think I have a problem. I mean, I should think I have a problem, but I have probably. So I wanted to ask you. You were you had this division by Patanjali is a bit different than by Rupa Goswami. As I understand, he said merciful, compassionate to the suffering.
Yes.
Which is a bit different than merciful to the ones
Less qualified.
Less qualified, yeah.
Or innocent, or ignorant.
Because if somebody if the suffering person is inimical to you and you can recognize his suffering,
not towards inimical. Inimical is a separate category.
No, but sometimes devotees are a bit like you, at least you interpret it as the one to provoke some conflict or something, and then I immediately react. I cannot be humble in such a situation. No chance. I mean, this is a separate
category. Mm-hmm. So dvishatsu for madhyam. These literally, Prabhupada usually translates dvasha as envy.
Okay.
But this is his old British usage, meaning inimical. Right? So Shatsu means inimical, one who attacks, for example, right? And there, if somebody actually acts like inimically, you can just avoid the fight, for example. That's the good behavior to practice with those who are inimical. If this is somebody less qualified or junior, then who is innocent, that's slightly different. Isn't it? So the mercy, so in all, so the quality is the same in all lists, mercy. The object, you're right, is defined slightly differently. For Madhya Bhakta, it's defined as Bali Shesho. Prabhupada translates innocent, but again, this is old British usage, meaning ignorant. Innocent meaning ignorant, no knowledge. Or Sanskrit means like children. Innocent like children, meaning no knowledge, ignorant. So that's why they use.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's easy to be compassionate, even if it's towards less qualified or toward friends.
Really?
Compassionate. You can have compassion for the suffering when you clearly recognize this person is suffering. But if there is some envy on my part, and I don't see compassion and I don't see suffering because of course there is envy, then I cannot practice compassion towards equals.
Compassion also
towards friendship, towards equals, for example. So
it's it's not. All of them are elevated practices. All of these are elevated.
Yeah.
Even compassion. Also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that normal material consciousness is paradukha sukhi. You see somebody suffering, you think, ha ha, that's right. Or, yes, I am so good.
No.
I mean, that's normal,
Yeah.
material. Yeah? Paradukha sukhi. And parasukha, dukhi. You see somebody happy, you think, oh, why not me? Oh, how he does not deserve this, look at him. Why is that? Of course, we don't say it. We never say it. Only Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes this. That's why his bhajans are medicine, because he brings out these nasty feelings from the shadow. We deny, no, I'm such a good person. That's there. That's why people enjoy watching bad news oftentimes. That's instinctively when we need to comfort somebody suffering, we describe somebody who is suffering even more. Or describe how we also suffer. Or, I remember, I said, I forgot who it was. Duty or Swami, or was it Madhav Swami Maharaj? I forgot. I mentioned that he had some trouble. I said, oh, he has even more trouble, and or some difficult, some suffering. And he said, oh yeah, now I feel so much better. Yes. He also suffers. Yes, it's very comforting. Others also suffer. Big comfort. It's a joke. Yes. But if you watch, that's how oftentimes we try to comfort. They say, no, these suffer even much more, or he is suffering even more. So, what Yoga Sutra describes, or Shastra describes, is a noble culture. Means it's cultivated behavior. It's not spontaneous. It's a cultivated. After all, you can see this is slapstick comedy. This is the major part of all comedy. Somebody suffers. Somebody falls down, and we ha ha ha. Somebody sits on the painted. Charlie Chaplin sits on the painted bench. He stands up and tears off his coattails, right? There was something like that. And we think it's so funny. he's suffering, so funny. He falls down, oh, so funny. He gets punched in the nose, well, very funny. That's the, that's the idea of comedy. So when so even compassion to the suffering is not so trivial. Even for that, we need to, the mother has to say to the child, no, don't love. Look, he's suffering. Be kind to him. Mother teaches the child. The child says, And he says, no, look, be compassionate. He's suffering. Help him or do something. Give him a cookie or bonbon to comfort. So the juniors also, if somebody, a junior or less qualified, means he makes a mistake. Maybe not towards you, but he makes some stupid mistake. He leaves something dirty. He does something stupid and bad for the temple, for preaching, for himself, or And what's the first reaction? What is? That's the first reaction, isn't it? Unless you cultivate. Okay, I need to present. How do I present? Maybe you have to be tough if you are in the army and the drill sergeant of the person, right? And sometimes brahmacharya ashram also functions. Any monastery around the world has this component. To become a monk, you have to dismantle the old false ego. So you will be really pressured by the drill sergeant, by the senior monk, by the brother monks. That's universal, everywhere, every monastery, every religion, every culture, everywhere. Even if people, it should not be done instinctively. It should, one should be careful. And in the army, these elite commandos, Navy SEALs, what are they called? Navy SEALs, Navy SEALs, yeah. They are training. This is murder, basically. People are murdered. The way they are trained, and actually, or SAS, this Britain, right? SAS. Basically, not everybody survives it, even physically. What to speak about mentally? They have to prove that they can take so much punishment in every way. Basically, they have to demolish the old civilian ego of easygoing, or even trained sportsman-like personality, and build a new. The Marines have these trainings. And then when they survive, then they are a new. That's the idea of initiation, actually, in every culture. Baby is pampered. A man is not pampered. And that's what people say the world, why we are so miserable nowadays, because there's no initiation for men. Nobody learns that to take responsibility and be a man, right? So we expect to be pampered. So then we, have these jokes that when you are a boy, only the first 40 years of childhood are difficult. So of course we have initiation, we have the ashram, and we try to, and sometimes it goes to the excess. And also you have to be careful. Not to it's a tricky thing. There has to be support. It has to be actually from people who have spiritual inspiration and kindness and everything. It will happen anyway. Even if nobody gives some heavy tasks to you, just submitting to guide. That's the idea of brahmacharya ashram, right? Brahmacharya, submitting to guidance. That means demolishing the baby ego of a pampered child. Everybody should look after my comfort. That's a baby. And a man means you live with what you get. What you get, you survive. And you do something positive anyway. So that's the brahmachari training. So that's why every dvija, a leader in a society, has to go through the brahmachari ashram. We had in Burma, Myanmar, it was interesting, they had this system that you could not have any position in the society without going to a monastery. So, for example, if some bureaucrat needed a promotion, he was a chief of a department, and then he was promoted to a chief of a branch, or chief or something. And before every promotion, everybody must go to a monastery at least for 3 months, for 3 weeks, for some time, and then stay in a monastery, and then they are allowed to take the next promotion, which is a very healthy system. And it's you can talk to people. It's an interesting topic. Initiation. People somehow forgot it. They lost it. It used to be every culture had it, and nowadays. And traditionally, women did not require initiation. Women did not require initiation because somehow, naturally, women learned to face pain and deal with pain and have humility, face pain with endurance and humility, which was traditionally there. But in the modern society, everybody needs initiation and training. As you can see, Srila Prabhupada also, and Bhaktisiddhanta, modern society, everybody needs initiation. Not just into a mantra, as was already customary. Always, women would always get initiation into the mantra for worship, but also with some preparation, with some transformation. Because initiation has 5 parts, yes, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and the first part is, anybody knows, Mantra Samskara? First part of initiation is tapa, austerity. Then the next one is Urdhva Pundra. Urdhva Pundra is literally sometimes translated as getting the symbols, the tilak and other symbols, but it has a psychological dimension of some kind of joy or elevation. Your spirits are lifted. You pass the test and your spirits are lifted. The next one, nama, name. Next one, mantra. So mantra is only step number 4. And then 5th is yaga, worship. So that's initiation. So initiation doesn't mean just getting, it's not a 1-second affair or even 1 hour. Prabhupada says it's a process. It's a process. Divya jnanam yato dadyat sarva papasya sankshayam. It's like an alchemic process where you get divine knowledge and remove sinful tendencies from the heart. That's initiation. So we overcome the natural tendency to laugh or exploit or suppress, which is there, and instead we try to act out of mercy. Out of mercy. Even that is a practice. It's not just to those who attack you, but it's to those who may lack some. So traditionally it's recommended to juniors. Gunadhama, less quotes, right? Means juniors, your official juniors. That's where mercy is prescribed. Okay? Not the attackers. No, that's not the attackers. Because seniors can attack, equals can attack, or anybody can attack. Our outsiders can have.
Yeah, I was more speaking of my problem. I can be merciful, compassionate to the suffering, but if my mind says no, he's a complacent rascal, but he's probably not, then I cannot be not friendly, not merciful, not anything. So that's about my problem. So just
It's
common situation. Probably not so rare.
This is a challenging practice. This is why it's a process. It's Bhagavad Dharma. It's a practice of elevation. So you practice developing these challenging modes of behavior. Learning to practice compassion, even if, like for example, the mother. The child acts in a crazy way. The child passes stool on her lap, the child disobeys, the child is very obstinate. But the mother shows to the child unconditional acceptance, mercy basically. And so if that was not there, there would be no existence. If the mothers didn't tolerate the children, there would be nothing. So that's mercy. And it's not easy, of course. So that's one of the reasons, by the way, why women may not have required initiation, because they have some very natural training just in their life. Nowadays, everybody requires conscious practice and conscious training. Yeah, it's difficult. Of course, you can think that yes, he is complacent rascal. So if that's some junior, so yes, it helps. I think it was Prabhupada's lecture yesterday.
Then I want to give him some suffering so that I can be compassionate. Like this, I'm going to make you suffer. Now I can be compassionate and be some. I mean, that's the mechanism. So it's with me. Yeah, I will give you suffering. You are complacent rascal. I will give you suffering. Then compassion. It's in me. It works like this. Yeah.
Inside the society of devotees or outside?
Huh?
Inside,
of course. Yeah. I see everywhere are complacent rascals. I have a problem. I mean, with this. Yeah. And I mean, inside, outside, even more. So it is. I mean, I have like this attitude, which needs probably correction.
So I'm asking because outside you can try to realize the emptiness of so many people's lives.
Yeah, that's not a problem to be compassionate with those guys on the street.
They may be very happy externally or temporarily in a material way, but there is an underlying misery there. Otherwise, why would they drink? Why would they smoke? Why would they take
of course,
all these? There's pain, emptiness.
Yeah.
And inside the society of devotees, a complacent rascal.
Oh, I'm a complacent rascal, probably.
Well, absolutely. Yes, isn't everybody suffering anyway? Isn't everybody who is not
that's the solution.
who is not as third canto, yes, that in this world only two categories are happy: a pig and a saint. So if somebody is not a complete saint, Paramahamsa, they're suffering still, but their life.
Respect towards everybody.
Yes, and if nothing else, the suffering is never-ending lecture. You have a comment?
Speaking about this different relationships between devotees regarding to the junior sequels and seniors, I was thinking, what is the maybe advantage or disadvantage of this kind of classification in between devotees' interactions? Because mentioned in
Junior, equal, and senior.
yes, in 10th canto, there's mentioned that to think, if one thinks that he's senior in devotee, that's like a demoniac mentality. Actually, it's not. It's like an anartha or something. In 10th canto, it's mentioned. So I'm thinking about the Uttama Bhakta or Uttama Adhikari, as he sees everyone with equal vision and his advantage in his preaching, or Madhyama Adhikari.
And he's what?
Advantage of the preaching.
He's not preaching.
No.
Who does he preach to? Everybody is divine already.
Yeah,
Uttama doesn't preach.
He preaches by example.
Ah,
He preaches by example, and within his interactions.
Would we be satisfied if Prabhupada preached by his example of sitting in the Dhamma? He would have nothing if he didn't act as a monk.
He wasn't Uttama Adhikari?
He acted as a monk. Preaching by definition is act. He was Uttama, but he was acting as a monk. So yes, what you say is certainly the desired level of, yes, seeing everybody as divine from the point of view of eternity, in terms of eternity. Yes, everybody is Krishna's servant. However, practically, so first of all, you do not get there simply by imitating such thoughts. Because if we just think it, we will do this on a material platform. He sees this on a spiritual level. He actually sees it. Not just a thought. So on the way there, we will naturally see that somebody is somebody has progressed further, and somebody has progressed less. We will naturally see. That's when you practice something, you will see that somebody is much better than me in this or in that. And somebody, okay, he needs to learn a little more. And naturally, you will feel compassion naturally. It's not. There's nothing. It's not pride. Pride is, yes. That's what we condemned was pride. But this devotee doesn't think this with pride. He doesn't think, yes, that's cash demon. I am very big and important, best.
So in Urga's example, as he said that maybe some things he's so elevated and he just likes to cut people and cut junior devotees. How to maybe
No equals. Not. I have problem with everything. I don't like to. If I see that somebody is less qualified, but I don't see such people, I won't attack them. I want to attack equals and above me.
That's why interestingly enough, in some other lists of 3 relationships for the more qualified, we have also an advice to practice tolerance or non-enviousness. That's in the case when they, for example, sometimes give us instructions or something, or orders, or being senior to us, also in social, we are connected, give us directions, do this, do that. So that sometimes it needs to be tolerated. So tolerance is recommended there. I was in the process of saying something. Let me just for a second. Madhyam Bhakta, yes. So Madhyam Bhakta, he practices, and also, so there's no pride in that. It doesn't think there's any pride. So there is respect, friendship, and mercy. Mercy, it's not the material charity. Yeah, I'm so good. Okay, here's something from my table. Okay, thanks. It's not in pride. It's actual kindness. It's actual desire. doesn't think he's so really good. He's free from, what is it called, Dunning-Kruger effect? That the less person is qualified, the more expert he feels. The less person knows, the more he thinks he knows. Dunning-Kruger effect. Yes. And the more you know, the less you think you know. So if it's a madhyam, actually madhyam, Kanishta he may think, am I an Shaktivesh avatar or am I just a Guna avatar or something? Am I just Madhyam, he knows. He knows. I'm really, I need so much mercy. He doesn't think he's...
I mean, oftentimes in our preaching, it's not so much about what we know, but how much we care. Because oftentimes we hear about stories from Sankirtan devotees. You can be like totally smashed from a totally non-devotee that has some inner wisdom and, you know, Krishna speaking through them. And it's, you know, how some people say people don't care how much you know until, you know, they know how much you care.
Yes. So care is compassion. Compassion is care. That's what is given. Right?
Yeah, so I think Bhakti it's about more compassion than Gyan.
Of course. Okay. Karuna Avatara. Gauranga. Karuna Avatara Nityananda ki.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki. Jai Gaurpranande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,